Good afternoon, everyone. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Evan Geyer. Today, I'm talking about tradition, out of control tradition. And at the end, I will talk a little bit about diversity and the goals of diversity mandates and what to do about diversity, getting more diversity people hired, more uh, African Americans, more Mexicans, more Asians, more poor people, whoever, diversity, getting more diversity in business um, or doing it the right way. All right. So tradition is doing or practicing something and then repeating that over and over again in the future. Much like Thanksgiving, which was first practiced back when there were cowboys and Indians, and then practiced once a year for decades and centuries after. When tradition becomes out of control like it is, we are not thinking correctly. We are thinking about a past and repeating the past rather than thinking from scratch and how life maybe should be or what would make life worthwhile. Just like meetings at work get longer and longer and more repetitive, it's sad to see the cost of tradition. You've got an alternative like on Facebook where you share memories, and those are more personalized traditions that not everyone's forced to celebrate. However, you have at this time tradition out of control, and local governments are passing and spending time on things like Grange Month, and we are making celebrations and acknowledgments for every month, week, and day. It's out of control. That's we go to work. I go to work at Amazon where I work, and we spend 5 to 10 minutes before work talking about diversity, talking about tradition, and talking about things that could be communicated another way. We do 5 to 10 minutes before work, then we do 5 to 10 minutes after break, then we do 5 to 10 minutes after lunch, then we do 5 to 10 minutes after the second break, and then and then we go home, and that's like a half an hour where we could be working and doing something else. That's half an hour where we could be, instead of nodding our head like this to stretch, which isn't really a stretch, we could be actually taking time away from work to get a good stretch in. When there's a long period of work without a break, we could actually sit down or go to a stretching area and perform those stretches if we need to. But we're using the time in the wrong ways. Thinking going forward, celebrating Independence Day and Veteran Days runs counterintuitive to Halloween and Christmas, where we go buy a bunch of decorations made in China. We have Independence Day, we have Veterans Day, we have Labor Day, days that are supposed to be patriotic in a sense. And then we have Christmas and Halloween, where we just go buy a bunch of made in China stuff and throw it around the house and call it a spooky day. And whatever happened to whatever occurred to making our own made in USA decorations and spending time educating our children on how to knit and make gifts like soap and candles? Do we have to put a day for making soap and candles for people to wake up and start teaching their children how to do things that are valuable skills? I've heard of people falling off roofs with putting up decorations. Why are we doing all this made in China decorations to celebrate our holidays? Using tradition as an economic weapon is an opportunity for America, and it should be used. We can put up the decorations we have. We can have a garage sale if we don't want to. We can do things to celebrate, like skits like they used to do in the olden days, in costumes that are handmade. We can take a little bit more time to celebrate and prepare and create for our own celebrations rather than rushing out to the store at the last minute to go buy a decoration or a costume. And if we do that, we'll be better off. So we don't need to celebrate every month, week, and day. And sometimes we need some time to get away, um, to prepare so we can make our own candles, make our own costumes, and maybe a day to vote does make sense. We don't need this Juneteenth day that is a new holiday, and we could get rid of one of the holidays, and we could put in a day where you vote, like you get the day off, or you get half the day off, or something. We used to have Sundays where we didn't work on Sundays, and a day off for voting, makes sense. Tradition is out of control, and when you have kids lying about believing in Santa so they can get presents from Santa, wow. I know this because I was a kid, and my mom asked me, "Do you believe in Santa?" And I told her yes, because I didn't want to end the presents from Santa. It wasn't about believing in Santa. It wasn't about the celebration of Christmas. I just didn't want to stop getting presents. So, what are we doing to these underprivileged people? People who aren't doing well? Diversity mandates. Well, like I told you, I will talk about diversity at the end of this. So, tradition is out of control, especially 435 in the House and 100 in the Senate sit around waiting while they take turns speaking on an issue or voting. There are better, faster ways to see if a bill is supported through smaller committees or using messaging services like those who might support a bill before the whole House or Senate's time is wasted. Governing bodies are capable of doing two, maybe three or more things than one thing at once. And having a computer in front of you while someone is speaking, working on the bill, working on communication for the bill, seeing if people support the bill, and highlighting certain points and persuasive comments about a bill while the speaker is speaking. We can do better. All right. So I told you I was going to talk about diversity at the end. So I'm going to talk about diversity. Right now, if you want a government contract to build a road, and this isn't everywhere that I know of, but it is. I've heard of it. If you want a government contract, you have to have at least 10% of your workforce or 15% of your workforce be African American. They have to have certain mandates for you to even begin to build the road or build the project of minorities working for that company in which the company is bidding for the project. This is not been successful. You look at the numbers, and minorities are still higher in unemployment, even with these mandates. And these mandates make it so that if you don't have a number of minorities, you're not going to win the bid, and the free market cannot work because you have to have a certain number of minorities working for your company in order to even get the bid. And so if it doesn't let the free market work. So what I propose, rather than destroying the free market and making it so that minorities are a certain percentage of a company when they get hired, even though you look at the statistics of minority unemployment is still higher than white unemployment. I think to solve the problem, it isn't about white or black. It isn't about Asian or Mexican. However, it is about disadvantaged or privileged. And rather than setting mandates for hiring a certain number of blacks to address the problem, we need policies which help and aid all disadvantaged. Policies like I've talked about, where everyone gets $10,000 of solar panels, of which they keep even in a bankruptcy. Policies and programs where the disadvantaged can earn money for doing work most people don't want to do. Then hiring those and promoting those who are doing good work and trying to benefit society, like not owning a vehicle and if they have to walk to work, that people don't want to do that work, paying them extra and realizing that they're trying to help society, and then promoting them for doing the right and correct things. That is the path forward for the disadvantaged. And there's white disadvantaged, there's African American disadvantaged, there's all sorts of disadvantaged groups, and that is the path forward, I believe. All right, I will talk to you later and see you. That's Evan on tradition out of control. We're just taking up too much time, and it's in. You see it in work, you see it in celebration, you see it in sports, and the larger the bodies of people doing this, the worse that it generally gets. You know, you see it in church, people doing things for no outcome. I hope this can be changed. I hope that tradition, unless it's doing something beneficial, I hope that tradition does not be out of control. All right, talk to you later and see you.